While I know this is Teching 101's usual domain, warning the following consists of a discussion involving characters and content consisting of copyright material owned by Edichiro Oda, Shesuia Inc., Wiggly Shonen Jump, Toei Animation, and Crunchyroll, the current rights owners to One Piece, as well as slight reference into copyright material owned by Warner Brothers Media, J.K. and J.K. Rowling, the current right owners to Harry Potter. All characters' names, reference points, spoiler content, spoiler mentions will be discussed and are covered under Fair Rights Usage Act, as this video is my property and covered under the same content and same ruling. Okay, there's been something that's been on the back of my mind for quite a few years now. As we know from from at least one Piece movie and several chapters from a few years back, Luffy's grandfather, Monkey D. Garp, has constantly shot down any attempts by the Navy and the world government to promote him to the rank of admiral. He's comfortable with a vice admiral because of the freedom rank, because the freedom it gives him. Why? Simply put, it's explained he doesn't want to answer to the celestial dragons. Well, that's the reason they give on the surface, especially since all the admirals are always at the beck of the call of those elitist snobs. To be fair, I don't blame Garp for constantly shooting it down. I also think of another reason, and it to some level also kind of makes Garp to at least some perspectives similar to Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter. In the same way Garp constantly denied any promotion to admiral, Dumbledore refused the position of Minister of Magic on at least 3 or 4 different occasions. Due to the temptation of power, and both for a similar reason, even though Garp doesn't want to admit this one, I believe it's due to the temptation of power and corruption the rank of admiral would bestow upon him. In the same way, Dumbledore constantly refused the minister spot because of the temptations of power and corruption. Now, given that I know for a fact Garp has never shown any of the traits of a power junkie in the same way Dumbledore did, but that said, Garp at least would still know what he'd end up surrounding himself with if he took the post, in the same way Dumbledore knew what would happen to him if he took the job as minister. Especially when you consider that the world government, much like the Ministry of Magic, are self serving people pleasers who are more interested in quick fixes and cover ups as opposed to actually telling the truth to the public or getting to the bottom of certain things. Cases and points of various cover ups, the O'Hara incident, promote giving Smoker the credit for what happened at Alabasta when it was Luffy and the crew who did it. And more recently, and yes, this is where some spoilers will come into play, the murder of Vivi's father, Nefertari D. Cobra, or Cobra D. Nefertari, depending on how you want to look at it. Which, to a level, does explain why the Nefertari house did not refuse many times to elevate themselves to the level of celestial dragons. And due to the temptations of power and corruption. The only difference is that the so-called leaders of the world government, the five elder star, the goddess say, the five elder stars in One Piece, they're subservient to, in my view, One Piece's version of Voldemort, except immortal and borderline impossible to stop. Up, up. And how did Imsan get that power? Become immortal? Simple. He basically forced whoever was one of the earliest known consumers of the op fruit to perform the immortality surgery on him, giving him eternal life and killing the surgeon. I really hope there's a devil fruit out there called the Noru Noru no Mi or Null Null fruit. What would it do? And Oda Sensei, I am asking you to get on this. What would the Null Null fruit do? Simple. Do what Blackbeard's Dark fruit does, strip the power of a devil fruit eater away from them, but do it on a permanent scale. With Blackbeard, he can only do it if you get close within a close range of him. If you get within his range. But if anyone were to consume a null null fruit, your powers would be offline for good. Now, granted, I'm not sure if this would work in the same vein with immortality, but I don't know. But that being said, that's the main reason I think Garp turned down my personal reason as to why Garp turned down the position of admiral. He didn't. He may Garp may be about as dense as his grandson, Monkey D. Luffy, but he's at least a little more down to earth and worldly wise in understanding that the power and corruption of the admiral post has turned the navy pretty rotten, and those who get up to that position have gone on to abuse that position for their own twisted pursuits of justice. Case in point, Akainu, whose view of absolute justice is far more destructive than productive. And when you can now, as far as I know, based on what I've read from recent chapters, and yes, more spoilers, I do believe Garp is dead at the hands of Blackbeard. And when Luffy finds this out, oh boy, shit is going to hit the fan. When he tracks down Blackbeard, to hell with it. And yes, I know full well Luffy up to this point has adhered to either a strict no killing code where he will not kill his opponents, or if need be, he may nope, he will not kill his opponents. But at this point, it's time to elevate that. Throw the pacifistic no kill policy out the window, Luffy. When you face Blackbeard, it's gonna be to the death. Kill him. It'll have to be changed to from no kill to kill if need be. And believe me, it's gonna be kill, not if, when need be in this case. Because Blackbeard shows that he's basically a power junkie, a cowardly power junkie. And had not Beppo helped himself and Law escape, Beppo and Law escaped, Blackbeard would have been immortal by now. But getting back on topic. I really hope Kobe, once he recovers, follows in Garp's footsteps and constantly turns down the vice the admiral post. So yeah, is Garp similar to Dumbledore in some ways? Well, in some ways, yes, but in the long term, no. But that's all I got right now. Leave a comment, smash a like, and sub to the channel. This is only the second video I've done in retention to One Piece. Goodbye and good night. Bang.